Today I want to tell you a story. Today, I went to the supermarket. I woke up in the morning and I felt a little hungry. I went to the kitchen, but there was no milk and no bread. So, I decided to go to the supermarket. I got dressed, took my bag and left the house. The weather was nice, and the street was a little busy. After a few minutes, I arrived at the supermarket. I took a basket and walked inside. There were many people shopping. Some people were buying fruits, and others were looking at snacks. First, I went to the fruit section. I saw apples, bananas, and oranges. They looked fresh and delicious. Then I went to the dairy section. I wanted to find milk. I looked around, but I couldn't see it. So I asked a worker, "Excuse me, where is the milk?" He smiled and said, "It's in the next aisle." I said, "Thank you." I walked to the next aisle and finally I found the milk. I took one bottle. Then, I went to the bakery section. I smelled fresh bread. It smelled very good. I chose a loaf of bread and put it in my basket. After that, I walked around a little more. I saw chocolate, chips and juice. I wanted to buy chocolate, but I decided to save money. So I only took milk and bread. Then I went to the cashier. There was a short line, so I waited for a few minutes. When it was my turn, the cashier smiled and said, "Hello." I said, "Hello." She scanned the items and asked, "Do you need a bag?" I said, "Yes, please." She put the milk and bread in a bag. Then she said, "That will be $10. I paid and said, "Thank you." She said, "Have a nice day." I smiled and left the supermarket. On my way home, I felt happy. When I arrived home, I made a simple breakfast. I had milk and bread. It was a good day. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to watch the next video. I went to a cafe.